Tatenda. How are you doing?
Hi, Tinacha, how are you?
I'm good. How was your day?
It was perfect. How was yours?
Mine was good. I spent the whole day at church.
Yeah.
So, welcome guys to African Sign of Studio. My name is Tinashe. I'm your host. And with me here, I have Tatenda.
Hi, I'm Tatenda. I'm happy to be here with Tinashe in our first podcast.
I'm also happy having you, Tatenda. So, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about an issue that affects all of us, the issue of friendships.
The issue of friendship. So we'll go through a lot of questions so that we can address this issue of friendships. We are all involved in it.
Yes.
It may be a friend that you have, a friend that you had, or a potential friend.
Tell me, do you still have the friends that you used to keep from your secondary or primary school days?
From high school, I still have one friend from high school that I still talk to.
And do you have left at the other school?
I can't say I let go, but you know what happens with the transition from the phases of life, from primary, high school, from high school, university. What happens is some friendships, they just vanish. There's nothing that happened, like we fought over something, but they just vanished. We just lost contact.
Yeah, you just grew up.
Grew out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes you know what happens. It may be because of geographical location. When the friends that I had when I was in Mtare, when I left Mtare for Harare, even the connection or the communication, we grew apart. The gap between us grew until to a certain extent that it vanished.
Yeah, it died a natural death.
It did.
Yeah, I think so. That's the friendships as we grow, even in adult life. Some friends are there for a season, and they're just there to make you transition from one point to the other. And then the other friends that you meet are for keeps, and they are for forever. And you get to grow old together, get to your 80s as friends. But others is just for a season.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sometimes what makes that friendship matters. But some friendships, they come because of a certain thing, like a purpose. I can make a friend because we are helping each other on a certain project, or we have a connection towards something or a certain goal. Then that's what built our friendship. So once the project is done, the connection is gone. We no longer have anything that is that we do mutual.
Okay.
So we can say they are colleagues or acquaintances. But when it comes to a friend, a real friend or a true friend, the friendship is usually built on trust. It usually built on mutual benefits. For me, what I do, I say anyone whom I interact with, I should be able to add value to that person. And that same person should be able to add value to me. You know, if a friend doesn't add value to me, the friendship is not worth it.
Yes, it goes with that verse in the Bible that says from Proverbs 27, says, iron sharpens iron. So that's one person sharpens the other. So you need to be in a relationship, in a friendly relationship that is mutually beneficial. And you are actually helping each other to grow personally, spiritually, and in terms of even business. in other moments where you just have the same vision with your friends, and then you can build on it together.
Exactly. So, Tatin, what type of a person would you take as your friend?
For me, I would take someone who shows up to be my friend, because there are moments when you need a person to show up for you. Say you are in a certain situation, you need them to be available to show that commitment, that they care for you, and that they, when you're worried, they are there to comfort you. That's what I believe friendship is all about. And looking at myself is something that I'm always looking at, giving out to those people I call my friends. I try to show up. I try to show that I care for them when they need me.
When they need you. And this is a problem. Usually, there are some type of people or some friends, they come close to you just because you have something they need from you. And when you are in need or when you need them, they won't be available for you. So let's take for instance, there's that friend of yours who only comes when they need something. Even when it's a call, they give you a call when they need assistance from you. But when you call that person asking for help, they are usually unavailable.
So I think that is something that is common in life as an adult. One thing that I think people should understand is when we grow up and when we are now family people, you've got so many responsibilities. Maybe you don't have a family, but you've got a job that requires your time, and maybe you've got a business that requires more time from you. So you are not always going to be available for your friends, but it is just that care when you can. It is whether you are able to sacrifice some time for them in your busy schedule. Yes. So it's not anymore about the quantity of referring to how many times you meet up. It's now more about the quality that you get from your friendships. As hard as it is to maintain adult friendships, they can be more valuable and more meaningful in life. So it is whether, yes, it can feel draining if you feel like you are the one who is only giving and your friend is not responding and giving you back the care and the putting any effort towards maintaining your relationship. Yes. But I take it that there is a need to assess before you can judge the other person. We may need to find out, why are they not available for me? Perhaps they are actually busy with something that is critical and crucial in their life. Yes, they can be actually in a situation that they require you to be there for them. Maybe there is something troubling them, there's sickness, there's other problems that come along with life.
So can't there be a situation whereby that person is trying to tell you that you are no longer needed in my life?
There is. And it is one thing that we need to always think also about at the back of our minds. We need to be able to determine when a season has ended, because some friendships, like we spoke about earlier, they are there for a season. So you need to also be able to identify those clues when a relationship has come to an end, so that either of us, we don't waste each other's time. Because I believe it's now more about intentionality. It needs to be more intentional rather than just coincidental for us meeting as friends, for us being friends. We need to be working towards something. We need to be having the same values, the same goals, the same vision.
Same vision. Okay, and there's also a situation, for example, like when we were discussing from the beginning of this pod, we are talking about the qualities of friends that we need, the type of a person that we need to have as a friend. So I'm also thinking, what if my character is attracting the caliber of friends that I have? There's a proverb which says, show me your friend and I'll tell you the type of a person you are. So it may be the crowd that I attract, or the friends that I attract, their character is just like mine.
Yeah, like birds of the same feather flock together. Yeah, that in a way, I think that proverb is true. So I believe people, as we grow up, we evolve, we change. So from the time we were young and a child, we made some childhood friends. We had the same likes. Maybe we were in the same group in class, in school. We were doing the same sport. But then we evolved and we came to a point where we are choosing careers, and now this one is choosing that career, this one is going that other side. Then perhaps we went to college together, and maybe after college, everyone is now following their career way paths, and the other moves to that city, the other moves to that city. And we are now facing different environments. And these environments that we find ourselves in, they shape our character. So you'll find that our character may change and evolve with time. And because of these changes, the person that was my friend for the past 10 years might just be changed now because of the things that they are facing now, the people that they keep company and the people I keep company. Or my values have now changed, my priorities have now changed. Maybe if we were not Christians, if we were not saved, I have been saved and my friend has not been saved. So those are the things that surrounds the differences in the dimensions of friendships. So sometimes, yes, you are what your environment is, but we also need to take cognizance of the fact that people around us, they change, but that doesn't mean we change together at the same time or we change with them.
Okay. I also believe that in friendship, we have an emotional investment in it, right? As time passes, from the first day you meet, 10 years down the line, you become more closer to each other, right? So let's say what you said just happened. You changed, or the person changed. Now you have a new light as a Christian, which your friend is not yet in. What do you do? Do you cut off those type of people just because I've got a light that is different to that person? Or you try by what you can to draw that same friend into that fold of the new light that you have?
Well, that's interesting because I've got two minds about that. The first one is, if we are to be like Jesus, he dwelt among the sinners and he interacted with them because he was the light and he was looking at shining his light to everyone. So if we are to follow in those footsteps, we cannot abandon our friendships based on the fact that my friend has not seen the light that I have seen, and my friend is still living in darkness. So because of that, I need to drop them off. That could just be a purpose for me to remain in that friendship. Why? Because I might need to be used by God to shed the light that I have received to this other person. Yes. And then on the other hand, I've got this mind that in as much as, yes, you have changed, your friends have changed, you've got different perspectives of life, you also need to look at your strengths as a person and set some boundaries for yourself, which you will be willing to keep and obey, so that you don't have to break your boundaries, you don't have to break your values just to please your friend. Because we live in a community where it's easy to become a people pleaser and forget about your own values and priorities. So you need to figure out whether, if I stay in this friendship, am I going to be breaking or going beyond my personal boundaries and my values? If it causes you to do that, then I think it's time to call it quits. It's time to call it a day.
Yeah, there's also a saying which says it's easier to pull down a person who is up than for that person to pull you up. So, like you said, you need to be a little bit careful or treat it carefully, because you may end up going back to the darker way or to where you used to be.
Exactly.
Okay, before we close this pod, Tatenda, there may be one or two individuals or viewers who are passing through this scenario, this situation that we're discussing. There's someone who is weighing, is that friend of mine really a good friend? Or who is doing a self-evaluation, self-audit. They are asking themselves, am I really a good person? So what weight can you give to that person who is in the middle of trying to find out the way, how can I get a good friend? How can I become a good friend?
Okay, I think the first thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about friends is that we can never do it alone. If you want to go far, you go with people. If you want to go slow, you cannot go as far alone. There's that proverb. I might not have said it the right way. And no man is an island. Life needs people. Like this past week, it was in the news and everywhere, talking about mental health issues. Mental health issues, one of the key things that was being discussed is the issue of depression caused by work, life problems, and also loneliness. So you can't really do it by yourself. You need people. Even the Bible says in Ecclesiastes that two are better than one, because they can do greater things together. And if the other is to fall down, the other is there to pick this other one up. Shame and pity is on that one who has got no one to pick them up when they fall. So you need to have that circle of friends who are reliable, who you can trust, to build on life together and hopefully grow old together. So my advice is just evaluate yourself first, to know your values, to know the things that are priority in your life, to also know whether you have got any boundaries or not. If you've got no boundaries, you need to start setting those boundaries, so that you won't get into a relationship and then end up saying, oh, this person did this to me, yet you had not communicated your boundaries. No one knew about what you want and what you don't want. So you need to improve on your communication with your friends.
Thank you guys for watching. I think one or two have learned from this podcast about friendship. So it's time to evaluate yourself, know what type of a person you are, and also what type of a person do you want to keep as friends. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Let's meet again in the next